Why the narcissist hates you but can't let go.
I remember how confused I felt when my ex, who had discarded me so harshly, wouldn't seem to let me go. One day, he would send me dozens of cruel texts, telling me how worthless I was, how he never loved me, and I disgusted him. Those texts would plunge me into despair, wondering what I did to deserve such hatred. But then, just hours later, he would be blowing up my phone again with messages begging me not to leave him, telling me no one would ever love me like he did, that we were soulmates, and I was destroying our love by abandoning him. The emotional roller coaster he put me on made me feel crazy. One moment, I was discarded trash he wanted gone from his life. The next, I was a goddess he couldn't bear to live without. I didn't know which version of his love I was supposed to believe. It's like he had two versions of me in his mind. The worthless, pathetic woman he hated with a passion, and the perfect soulmate he couldn't be without. He would flip between these extremes at the drop of a hat, keeping me hooked. Whenever I tried to leave, he would sob and flood me with romantic promises for our future, vows of our eternal love and how lost he was without me. He made me believe I was emotionally destroying this poor, broken man by abandoning him. This extreme push and pull left me doubting my own sanity. I was conditioned to crave the smallest morsel of his fickle love and approval. No matter how cruelly he devalued me, I clung to the hope he would switch and see me as his goddess once more. It was an addiction where he kept me coming back for more, even as he destroyed my soul. The days after our breakup were the worst. He bombarded me with texts ranging from vitriolic attacks to desperate proclamations of love. He told me I was his everything, that I had destroyed his life and he couldn't go on without me. Then, when I didn't immediately take him back, he'd call me cold-hearted and evil for abandoning him when he needed me most. It was emotional whiplash between him viciously insulting me and then acting like a helpless child begging me to stay. Part of me wanted to comfort him and make his pain stop. But I knew this was just manipulation to get me back under his control. Still, it haunted me that he seemed to be genuinely suffering because of my departure. I started to doubt my own perceptions. Maybe he did really love me and I was just being cruel. My head was spinning from his gaslighting and the cruelty mixed with desperation. I no longer trusted myself to make any decision about this relationship. When we first started dating, it was like a fairy tale romance. He worshipped the ground I walked on, wanted to spend every waking moment together. He would surprise me with extravagant dinners, vacations, gifts, saying I deserved the world. It felt incredible to be cherished like that. But slowly, his excessive doting started feeling suffocating rather than romantic. He became possessive and jealous, accusing me of cheating if I wanted occasional time with friends. If I disagreed with him, he would fly into a terrifying rage unlike anything I'd ever seen. After these episodes, he'd desperately apologize and go back to being my adoring prince for a time. It was like living with two different people. I became addicted to the high of his over-the-top praise and romance when he was in a good mood, but also perpetually walking on eggshells, fearful of provoking his wrath. The lower his lows became, the more desperately I sought his romantic highs. Those first blissful weeks clouded my judgment for far too long. The way he gazed at me like I was a goddess who had deigned to gift him with my presence, it was intoxicating. He recited Shakespearean sonnets he claimed to have written about my beauty. Every date felt carefully crafted to pamper and delight me. So when things shifted, I told myself he was just having a bad day, or I had done something to provoke him. The first time he called me worthless and threatened to leave after a small argument, I cried and begged his forgiveness for hours. His rage had terrified me, but the thought of losing what we had was even more frightening. I convinced myself the charming man I fell in love with was the real him. But that terrifying rage soon became a constant companion in our relationship. Any minor issue could set him off with no warning cancelling dinner plans, not answering a text fast enough, wanting to see my family or friends. The tiniest perceived slights would make him fly into a volcanic explosion of hateful insults and disgust towards me. And yet when it passed, he would stare at me with such tenderness and speak of our eternal love. The cycling between worship and disgust left me reeling. I felt like I was losing my grasp of what was real and who he truly was. My sanity felt like it was slipping through my fingers. So I clung ever harder to the beautiful illusion, afraid to face the ugly truth.
Why does my narcissistic ex seem to hate me but then tries desperately to get me back?
Narcissists view relationships transactionally. You represent a source of narcissistic supply attention, validation, resources. When you provide this, they idealize you. When you don't, they devalue you. But they become panicked at the threat of losing their supply source. So they use manipulation tactics to hoover you back in sob stories, idealization, threats, etc. They are addicted to your supply, but do not actually care about you. The push-pull dynamic is intended to keep you hooked and unstable. Confusion is a tactic of control, but this dizzying chaos is unsustainable long-term. Deep down, you know you deserve better. To a narcissist, people are objects, not humans with wants and needs. They try to keep objects close when they are useful and discard them when they are not. Their hatred and love are both not real, only tools to control you. The romantic, doting persona they show at first is totally fabricated. It is a calculated act to make you emotionally dependent on them. Once they know you are hooked, they drop the mask and reveal their true, cruel self. None of their words or emotions can be taken at face value.
How do I break this traumatic attachment cycle with my narcissistic ex?
The key is going no contact and setting firm boundaries. No matter what they do to try to manipulate you back, maintain your resolve. Recognize their behavior is about their disorder, not a reflection on your worth. Build your supportive community and focus on self-care. Be gentle with yourself as you heal from their abuse. Over time, the trauma bonds will lessen and you will regain your sense of self. Stay strong in knowing you deserve so much better. It takes incredible courage to leave an abusive relationship, but holding on to your truth will keep you on this healing path. Let their voice fade as you turn inward to your inner wisdom once more. There you will find you have always been enough. You may grieve the relationship you wished you had, but with distance, you will gain clarity. The man you fell for was a carefully constructed illusion. His love bombing lured you into a sinister trap designed to strip you of your self-worth. Have compassion for yourself as you process this violation of truth.
How can I start to regain confidence in my own reality after so much gaslighting?
Start writing down your experiences and documenting the facts. Look back on these when you start to second-guess yourself. The truth is in your lived experience, not their distortions. Learn about narcissistic abuse so you can name their manipulation tactics. Knowledge is power. Their playbook is very predictable. Seeing their lies for what they are will ground you in reality again. Build a network of people who know and trust your character. Their validation will help counteract the narcissist's claims. You are not alone in this. Connect to those who love the real you. Your inner voice and intuition became clouded under their control. But away from their influence, your clarity will start to emerge once more. Trust yourself again. You know at your core what is real and what is not.
Join us in spreading awareness about narcissistic abuse. If you have any specific questions or topics you'd like us to cover, feel free to share them in the comments or email us. We value your input and will include your suggestions in our next video. Subscribe to Empower Survivors, and together, let's make a difference. Share this video to protect others and promote healing. Stay tuned for more informative videos to deepen your understanding and support our cause.